here we are. Welcome, welcome. This is Tech Fairy, a deep dive into biz basics. So, welcome. Thank you for trusting me for this quick and dirty deep dive into all things tech and online biz. So, let's jump right in. There we go. So this is going to be the overview of what we're talking about today. Biz evolution, setting your priorities, alignment, and authenticity. Finding our ideal clients, and why niche is really key. Back in the day, it used to be easy to just, be a Jill of all trades and do a lot of things, but niching down is really what's going to set you apart. And so many people get their head in a pretzel about marketing. It's really just connection. And then you want to use your content in a way that helps people to resonate with who you are as a person. They're not really hiring, they're not buying a product off the shelf. They're wanting a connection with you as a person. And your content is what communicates that to people. So great content is three things: connection, capture leads, and convert them into paying customers. Then we'll talk about the one thing your clients are always going to be interested in, no matter what your industry is, no matter what your business is. Then the beauty of testimonials, the bright side of competition, and sacred pricing. And then we'll wrap up with talking about how to make sure that what you're offering is actually valuable to people. So that is an ongoing thing, but we're going to get into it, and 3 questions that you can ask yourself to always figure out, is this actually going to be valuable to your customers? Because if you're creating and not seeing the conversions, the profits that you would like, usually you can reverse engineer it and figure out what's going on. So why learn from me? I've been making money online for a really long time. Actually, I became a mom when I was 18, and I started off selling things like just resale at the local flea market, and very quickly moved that onto a new cool thing called eBay that a lot of people were suspicious of back in the year 2000. But that's how long I have been making money in the online space. I've also been a blogger since 2005. I've had 2 of my blogs go viral, one on a website called The Homestead Guru, which is owned by a lovely friend of mine, and one on my own website, krystaltrammel.com, which kind of broke my site for a little while. That was fun. I'm also self-taught web developer. I've been building websites since 2009. I should have pulled some screenshots of my old websites. They were really funny looking by today's standards, but we all start somewhere, right? Always been a geek about systems. I've done email copywriting for 6-figure launches for various businesses, and I also help 6- and 7-figure women entrepreneurs with their UX, which is a fancy way of saying user experience, making their design, their websites user-friendly, intuitive for people, and helping them with their marketing. And the number one reason you should listen to me is because I have failed a lot. So it's like Edison, right? He didn't fail 5,000 times in inventing the light bulb. He found 5,000 ways that didn't work. So I have a lot of experience in the failure realm. So, biz evolution and priorities. The thing about business is we all start out thinking that it's going to be this linear path in business, but really it's so much more complicated than that. And the path to success sometimes looks like this squiggly weird line, but the overall trajectory is usually upward. It's just like sometimes we don't always notice because we focus in on this one little path where it looks like we're crashing, and so we've got to look at the evolution. We've got to zoom back and look at what our biz is doing over time. And if you're new, it can be hard to do that, right? So to get back to basics on that, why are you in business? To help people or to get paid? Some people think, well, I really just want to help people, and if I get some money, that would be nice. But really, if you're in business just to help people, I hate to break it to you, but you have a hobby, maybe an expensive, time-consuming hobby. But if you're not getting paid for helping people, it's got to be it's not a business. It's got to be both. Because if you can get paid, I mean, I can think of all kinds of business ideas that are like I mean, we've all seen those like weird viral products on TikTok. They make money, but I don't want to just get paid. I want to also help people. So the ideal business a lot of times for heart-centered entrepreneurs is finding that sweet spot of how can I be paid to share my gifts in a way that actually makes a difference in people's lives. So get clear about your goals. If you want to make, more money, well, maybe, you go for a walk and the universe drops a penny in your path and you're like, that's not what I meant. But, so you have to be more specific, right? It's more money. And, you're in business to help people. Well, how specifically? And how can you be sure that you're actually helping versus thinking you're helping? One of the things about heart-centered businesses, you've really got to get super into your clients' heads, figure out what makes them tick, how they're evolving, what they're thinking about, so that you can help them in their own language, in the ways that make sense to them. And then 99% of business is actually kind of easy. It's mindset and showing up. I'm kind of teaching about the 1% right here with the tech fairy stuff. Like the technology part of it is really just 1%, because let's be real. In a perfect world, if you have systems and, if you have resources to throw at something, you can always pay to get a problem solved for you, right? There's people that can help you set up systems. There's people that can help you learn how to do email. There's ghostwriters for blogs. There's so many things, but your mindset and showing up. One of my mentors is Denise Duffield Thomas. I love that she talks about the concept of the golden goose. You're the golden goose in your business. If you don't protect and preserve your energy via mindset work and just showing up consistently, you're not going to be able to have success no matter how much money you've dropped on systems. Alignment and authenticity. So in business, alignment a lot of times is talking about, do we feel good about the work we're doing? Maybe we found, I'm sure you've seen the thing, it's like Ikigai. I should have put that in this presentation, where it's like you're the sweet spot for making money in business, but it also has to do something that helps the world. It has to do something that feeds your soul, and it has to do something that people actually want to buy. And so finding the sweet spot between those, that's the perfect alignment for you. And then a lot of people right now are feeling the need for increased community, and business has for a long time been a very solo endeavor. There's lots of, I'm sure you've heard the word solopreneur. There's so many people who, in order to really push forward like the stereotypical hustle mindset, it's very masculine oriented, right? And so you hear these, quote unquote overnight success stories about how these guys would pull 80-hour weeks and, pounding coffee and pounding the pavement and like making it happen. But we don't have to do that anymore now that we have the internet and now that we have so much at our fingertips in terms of resources to create a business that works for us, that is authentic, that is aligned with our heart and our values. And so community in business is actually critical. Instead of looking at others as, potential competition or like they're going to steal our ideas, connecting with other people in the business space is how we soar. So it's a law of attraction thing, right? If you believe that other people are out to sabotage you, then, you're going to see examples of that, versus if you are looking for connection and community and wanting to collaborate with others, looking at people as, hey, this is an opportunity for both of us. You're going to create more of that. Fear of standing out is another thing. I think a lot of us who are, increasingly figuring out video, for instance, it's a critical thing, right? We're like Instagram's pushing reels. YouTube is continuing to blow up. Like the best time to start a YouTube channel was in 2008 or something, but the second best time is still right now. But all of that triggers our stuff around visibility, especially a lot of us as women were, raised in homes where maybe we were silenced, we were made to fear or worry about, is it safe to use our voice? Is it safe to be seen? Is it safe to show up fully as who we are? Are we too much? I'm sure you've heard that before. Maybe I hear it all the time. Krystal, you're just too much. I used to hear it all the time. I hear it less now that I'm more selective about who I spend my time with. So the thing about, if you're too afraid to stand out, then we're all kind of like, we look generic. There's nothing special, right? Like, you've seen one Walmart, you've seen them all. They're the same thing. Versus if you're willing to embrace the unique magic that is you, people are going to resonate with that vulnerability. And so the things that you offer have a unique flavor that you provide that nobody else can copy. So, for instance, if you're in business and you offer a particular service and then you notice somebody else is offering like the exact same service, oh no, it's fine, because they're not ever going to be able to do it exactly the same way you do. They're not ever going to be able to offer precisely exactly the same magic that you bring to the same service, right? So it's not really the same at all. That's why I say that people are buying a connection with you, not really, you're not a product. You're just creating this unique experience with you. So if you followed any kind of business advice for a long time, I'm sure you've heard, well, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to be on LinkedIn, you have to start, you have to do video, you have to do blogs, you have to have a newsletter. Drop the have tos. I am here to tell you that biz is allowed to feel easy. Maybe not effortless, but you can. Effortless. You can do a little less, and you're free to make it up as you go along and choose the things that resonate with you. Do what feels good to you. So like, I don't use LinkedIn, and I actually made a decision in 2021 to pretty much remove myself from the book of faces. Facebook was just, for a long, like, everybody talks about, oh, it's this pit, it's terrible, but almost nobody actually leaves, it seems like. And so I went through and pulled a lot of my content off of that platform because it just, in the words of Marie Kondo, does not spark joy. So I only focus on Instagram now. I'm on Pinterest still. I kind of like Pinterest. Instagram is really where I have fun and play, and I want my business to feel more like fun and play. And if it's hard, you're not going to do it. If you tell yourself that you have to be a blogger to run a good business, and then you're dreading writing a blog, or like you're dreading writing newsletters every month or something, it's totally okay to outsource those parts that you don't like, or just don't do them when you're getting started. It's totally okay to play to your strengths. There we go. Okay. Marketing isn't gross. It's about connection. Now, why do I have a fairy goldfish on this page? I'll tell you that in a minute. So first, authenticity in your marketing is really just building trust. An amazing way to build trust is to show examples that people resonate with your work already. I'm talking about testimonials. So, what if you feel like a fraud? I am here to tell you that everybody comes up against this. I remember reading something from Marie Forleo. She is like, if you haven't heard of Marie Forleo, she is this, she has this thing called Marie TV that she started way back before YouTube was a huge thing. And I think she's been on Oprah. She's like a really big deal in the women's business world. And she says that she still, almost all the time, she feels like a fraud. And it's just a feeling that comes up because it's okay to notice how you're feeling, feel the fear, and do it anyway. Because there's layers to your knowledge. You don't have to be the all-knowing oracle of your niche. You just need to be a contributing voice, and it's okay to not have all the answers. People aren't looking to you to have all the answers. They're looking to you for an example of a journey of growth, of a trajectory that they can follow. They want to look at you and see, hey, she has some of the same things going on that I do. She's not perfect all the time. And the polished, perfect, glossy, shiny Instagram feed, you don't have to recreate something like that in your life in order to make your contribution, viable and valuable. So marketing, it's a lot of times, have you ever heard you have the attention span of a goldfish? Well, apparently new studies are coming out showing that human attention span is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And so what does that mean for online business? It means that we're distractible. So honestly, like if you found me in if you found me, this particular little bit of me that is out there in the massive ocean of the internet, like, thank you for connecting with me, because people don't have really long attention spans. And so if you're spending, a ton of time writing the perfect copy page, sales page, or you're spending so much time writing like long form emails or blogs, and then you're sending it out, hand on heart, waiting, hoping somebody is gonna, you're gonna have all these sales roll in because you just connected with them so well. Yes, if they actually read it. Sometimes, very often actually, things just get lost in the shuffle. Every single time I have ever run any kind of class, workshop, whatever, online, and I've been doing these since 2012 actually, I have had people after the fact say, "Oh my God, this looked so cool. I wish I could have signed up. I didn't know." And I'm thinking, but I posted it here and I did it there and I talked about it like 8 times at least. The thing is, there's more distractions than ever. And it's not anybody's fault. It's not a judgment that we're like this. I'm sure it's happened to you as well. I have seen, like, just this morning, I saw that a friend of mine had posted an offering for a live workshop, and I actually wanted to join, but I didn't know that it happened until she's like, "Oh, it was so great. Last night I did it." And I was like, well, I missed it. She did a recording and I bought the recording, but that's how you can support people in small business, right? But it's like, she was my friend and I wanted to do her workshop, but I didn't even see it in the massive shuffle that is online business and just the online space. There's a lot of voices. So marketing is about making it really easy for people to give you money, because chances are, if they actually read your message, they're going to be blown away and they want to contribute. They want to show up, but it's got to be easy. Don't make them scroll to the bottom of the page to find the buy now button. Put it on the top and the bottom. Don't make it really, really hard and like a text link in the middle of a blog. Make that button nice and big, easy to see, flashy color, and then say it often. So if you're running a workshop and you talk about it, 5 times, that might feel like, wow, I'm just, really talking so much about this thing for myself. But you've got to get into the headspace of, if the thing you're offering is actually helpful to people, you're not being like a pest sharing your stuff. You're offering an opportunity for people to solve their problems. And it's like a beautiful gift. So why would you not want to talk about that? Why would you not say it more and more frequently? And market research shows that, in fact, people are going to say no to something if it's the easier thing to do. And it takes between 5 and 12 times for someone to see and understand an offer before they say yes. In other words, we are default wired to say, no, never mind. And so think about in terms of sales. Think about the first, if you bought a car or something recently, and maybe the first time you saw that particular car, you're like, oh, it's nice, whatever. And then you saw it again and you started thinking, well, actually, it might be a nice one. I could see myself driving that, but no. 5 to 12 times before a buyer chooses to say yes. And so you're doing people a favor by making it easy and saying it often. All right, I'm going to give you a second to contemplate that purple cow while I have a sip of my tea. Ages ago, when the internet was a baby, a guy got really popular with a book called Purple Cow. His name was Seth Godin, And he wrote some pretty groundbreaking books about the early internet and marketing. And one of the concepts of his work is be the purple cow. Stand out. Are you going to remember all the cows on your road trip? But like, imagine if you're looking out your window on this long, boring road trip. You've seen 1,000 different trees, 1,000 different cows. Oh my gosh, there's a purple cow at the window. That's the one you're going to remember. That's the one you're going to come home and tell your friends about. That's the one that you're going to go, you're going to write a post about it, or you're going to take a photo of it. You're going to remember the outlier. So be the purple cow. And then the other thing that I see people doing is they feel like when they get into a space, they have to offer everything. And I really want to caution you against that, because Amazon offers everything. And that works for Amazon because they're Amazon, because they're not one human being. They are like this giant corporate conglomerate, right? If you're worried, for instance, about competing on price or competing on, if somebody says, oh, I can get this service cheaper elsewhere, that's not an invitation for you to lower your price or for you to, apologize. That's an invitation for you to cheerfully send them on their way so that they can get that better price somewhere else, because clearly they've already made that decision. They've already made a judgment against, well, this is kind of high priced and I don't want that. So they are doing you a favor by letting you know that they are not aligned with your current prices, and send them on their way. Good business is about finding the clients that are aligned with you, including the ones who feel like whatever you're charging is a great value for them, because they're out there. Pricing is emotional. Pricing is subjective. We're going to talk more about pricing later. So one of the other cool concepts is super fans. So when you have, when you've been in the online space for a long time, there's the concept of people who they like everything you have to say. They follow your blog, they read your newsletter, they watch your YouTube. They're everywhere. And I'm sure you probably have something in your life that you're a super fan of. So maybe it's like Stranger Things, or maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's a band, maybe it's Halloween. There's something where there's for me, there's a band called Him. I'm a super fan of Him. They're this obscure Finnish rock band, and I met my husband with doing street team work for them. We met the band together. It was really fantastic. Him can put out anything, and I will buy it. The lead singer of Him has a solo project. I'm going to that show. We're super fans. Like, anything that they put out, I'm in. I want it. I don't care, because I have this connection with the band, the people. I'm interested in what they're doing artistically. Even if I haven't heard it yet, I know that I want to know more about it. I know that I'm probably going to like it. And so I buy it. And so they have figured out that in order to make, a pretty profitable, sustainable 6 figures in online business, all you need is about 1,000 super fans. In other words, people who you've been around long enough that they are interested in anything you have to put out. You do a pre-launch, they're already in, they want it. And maybe you don't have any of those yet. I'm not sure I have any of those, but 1,000 is not that big of a number. And so if you really break down business and marketing into numbers, it's just a numbers game. And we're going to talk about that more later too. It really is just sheer statistics. And the other thing is, especially as heart-centered entrepreneurs, I think a lot of people, we want to be liked. We want to feel like people like us, and we're maybe afraid to share things that will, divide, or we want to dance around our opinions or our feelings instead of being more blunt and being more upfront. But the fact is, you're not going to become a purple cow if you never share anything controversial, right? And so in 2020, that was a very interesting year, I think, for a lot of people, aside from the global moment. there were a lot of things going on in the business world that kind of set people apart from each other. And so I remember there was an article that I wrote, and I was a little bit nervous to send it. And I did get some unsubscribes when I sent that article, and it was my 9-year-old son talking about how very sad he was about the state of the world at the time, socially and emotionally. Um, and the thing is, people get so upset about, oh no, they unsubscribed, they must not like me. And so I want to invite you to shift the narrative and speak your mind, speak your truth. And when you get unsubscribes, that's like a gift. Thank you. They have opted out without you having to do anything. They have self-selected out of your reality because they're not in alignment with your message anymore. So how nice is that? The more authentic you are, yes, you'll get some unsubscribes. And this is a good thing. This is not a bad thing because then you're able to make space and align yourself with those people. Hi, Sarah. All right. So the 3 parts of marketing is connect, capture, and converge. So we're going to talk about connection first. So I'm here to tell you, embrace your weirdness. In this online space, you're the product. You're not like a storefront. You're not this generic offering. So being visible is how you're going to stand apart from the crowd. You don't want to copy everybody else. You don't want to, play it safe. You want to be that purple cow and stand out. One of my long ago business mentors when I was first starting out is this lady named Leonie Dawson. She is an Australian sparkly hippie lady, and she is the one that taught me the phrase, don't hide your brownies. And so she talked about, with marketing, a lot of us think that, maybe it's pushy or weird, or it feels, like self-aggrandizing to talk about our offerings. And don't hide your brownies is her way of saying, imagine that marketing is like, you've invited some friends over to your house for a party, and you're baking some brownies, but you don't want anybody to know. But the people in the house, they smell the brownies and they're like, man, what smells so good? What is that? Man, I could really use something sweet to eat right now. And you're going, there's nothing to see here. No. And you're like, not bringing them out and showing them and saying, hey, here, I baked brownies for you. Because that's really all marketing is it's like offering people a brownie and saying, here, I made this for you. It will help. So the capture part, I like to think about from a cosmic perspective, gravity. So when you're out there, when you're on social media, you're, talking to the void, it seems like, right? Some people will come around, and it's not always your followers that see all your, we know the algorithm does weird things. Sometimes your followers don't even see your stuff. And then there's people who see your stuff but aren't your followers. So what you want to do is kind of have this gravitational pull to your content so that people will stick around, so that they'll like become, in orbit. They'll be paying attention to what you're offering. They're on your email list. They're following you on social media. They're watching your stories. They're more, in your orbit, right? And so you want to go for creating moons rather than comets. So if you've got some orbit, some people that are in orbit around your planet of offerings, they're going to see your stuff more frequently. Comets are really cool and flashy, and maybe, you get a viral post and it'll be like, ooh, stars going by, but then they're gone. And so you've got to have a good way to gravitate, to pull them into your orbit. That's why you need an email list. So anything that you're offering, even if you don't have a website yet, you can set up an email list, and that way you are getting leads. In other words, people are sharing their inbox with you saying, yes, I invite you to talk to me regularly. That is gold. And People say all the time in the online space, oh, email's dead, da, da, da. But the fact of the matter is, you don't own your Instagram page. Instagram owns it. Facebook, we know Facebook owns Facebook. People are getting banned, their content gets removed, whereas your email list is yours. And furthermore, it's a more intimate communication. People check their emails first thing in the morning. They might check them 20 times a day. I think I've actually heard like 25 times a day is the average for how often people check their emails. And so email sales is probably the easiest and most direct way to make money. And then social media is not your job. One of the things that I always tell people is that if you're creating content on social media, like this is good, it's important, you want to bring people in, but you want to make sure they're not comets. They're not just flying by. So you want to have that content housed somewhere else also where it belongs to you, whether that's, you can post on Substack for free, you can have a blog, you can have even just if it's just a Google Drive and you've got your writing in there, then you can share that specifically with your email list. And so best and easiest thing for beginners is MailChimp. There's also MailerLite, one or the other. Set it up and start capturing people's emails, even if it's just as simple as you make a post on Instagram about something you want to offer, maybe it's a Zoom call, and then just say, DM me your email. That way you can connect with these people in future, not just for this one thing. So that's the gravitation part of content. And now we've got them connected, we've got them pulled into our orbit. Now we want to convert, meaning convert them to buyers. So if you have a website, fantastic, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. It actually is a lot more simple than people think it is. I mean, people spend $20,000 on websites. They also spend, $20 on websites. I have a service called Carrd, and it's CARRD.co. And I think I pay $19 a year and I can have up to 10 websites. They're one-page websites. They're simple, but they look pretty. They work. They do the trick. And that is, it's better to have a simple website that does the job versus a really clunky, complicated one that doesn't really do the job. Now, what's the job? What's the point of our website, right? It's supposed to make you money. If you're paying a bunch of money for a website and you're not making money, if you're not getting return on your investment, then you're kind of missing the point. And so KISS your website. We all know the acronym KISS from back in the day. Keep it simple. So simple converts because a confused mind says no. And then also, we're dealing with something called the 8-second rule here. And I think they actually did this study 10 years ago. So it's probably shorter now. It's probably more like 3 seconds. The 8-second rule has to do with when someone comes to your website, you have about 8 seconds to engage them, to make them decide whether or not they're going to stay and read versus leave, bounce away. So they're scanning your website and they're going, oh, this isn't what I had to, this isn't what I wanted. And they click away versus, oh, this looks really cool. Oh, I'm going to click around. And so if people make it past that 8-second mark, they're much more likely to stay and click your about page. They're going to look at your offerings and hopefully they're going to sign up. They're going to give you their email so that you can have them as a lead. So the other way of converting is make it easy for people to buy. Remember I said have a sales button on the top and on the bottom. A long page of sales copy might be good if you're having like a higher ticket offering, but especially for something short and simple, people are distracted, they're busy. Make it easy for people to buy from you. And then the one question that all your clients are asking is, what's in it for me? This is another thing from Leonie Dawson's stuff. She talks about WIIFM, what's in it for me? In other words, if you want to sell something and you're telling about, it's this big and this color and this is what it looks like and these are the accessories you get from it. That's like features. That's good. People want to know what they're getting. But the thing that sells people is actually results. Buying is an emotional decision. And so if you can convince people that for the low price of whatever your offer is, they're going to get the results in their life that they want, that is golden. And shut up and take my money. They want the results. And how do you communicate results? With testimonials. People want to know proof. They want to have the ability to say, wow, okay, this person has already done this thing that I'm considering doing, and they got great results. So if you're brand new, you might not have, testimonials because you haven't had any paying clients yet. Instead of getting caught in this catch-22 and worrying about that, this is a great time to ask people directly and even exchange services with other biz owners. So maybe you know somebody that is making, an herbal apothecary line, and they're also starting out and maybe they only have a few clients. You can say, hey, I'd love to try your facial serum, and in exchange, can I give you an astrology reading? And then we will write testimonials for each other. That's a great way to build up your reputation. And very often these early connections are what really launches your business forward, because people want to help each other. It's an exchange. And it makes clients feel safe because they want to see your face. They want to see, what they're getting, the features and the benefits. But most importantly, they want proof that they're going to get the results that they really want. And the result might be, have better skin or sleep better or have a better relationship with their kids. These are the kind of things that are results. People don't buy something because it's a good deal. They buy something because it gets them to achieve the goal and shift their perception of who they are in their mind from where they are now to where they want to be. So if you can communicate that to them, if you can communicate that transformation, they're going to be happy to buy from you. And then, just a note about competition, copycats. A lot of people in the online space, again, it has been a lonely road for a lot of entrepreneurs. And I love that that's changing. More and more people are getting into collaboration. Joint venture, that's a concept where you and someone else kind of come together to make something or offer something, or even, do a podcast with someone or be on an Instagram live with someone else. And then all of their followers are like, oh, who's their cool new friend? All of your followers are going to go, oh, who's their cool new friend? You're going to have so much more energy and potency from the connection between you. And it's a great way to leverage your audiences as well. I really think the future is collaborative business. The time of the lone wolf is over, as my favorite spiritual mentor, Anelia Benz, likes to say. And then copycats versus reinventing the wheel. Okay. I recently was reminded of a fantastic phrase. It's called stealing like an artist. So when you really think about it, nothing is new and shiny. And so if you have somebody that you feel, if you love their work, it's not that you don't want to copy them, obviously, like not plagiarism or anything, but, doing what has already been done. Like that's how artists have improved upon, the collective body of art since forever. That's how writers improve. If you want to be a good writer, read books. If you want to be a good artist, look at other art. And so if you have somebody copying you, or if you feel like, if you're worried that your work is like too similar to somebody else's, look for what differentiates and what sets you apart. Play up those features, but don't worry about thinking that you have to reinvent the wheel. If you're busy, so much of this stuff has been done before, and we're in this amazing point in time where there's a lot of research about established systems, about, for instance, how to launch your products, what kind of email. There's a book called Words That Sell, and it's like copywriting where you can just take these phrases, and they have been, research has been shown that these are the phrases that make people click buy now. Like that's the level that we can get into. And instead of feeling like, oh, it's not authentic enough to do that, like it's okay to copy in the ways that make sense. Rather than trying to reinvent the wheel and do everything from scratch, you're going to be working out a long time. And as we said, the point of business is to help people and to make money. It's got to be both. And if you're busy, redesigning your website for the 17th time, or like deciding you need new headshots or new branding, it's kind of like procrastinating instead of just focusing on using what you've got, marketing the offers you've got, and sharing with people that, hey, I've got this thing. It can really help you. I'd love to share it with you. And make it easy for them to give you money for that. And then the last thing is never compete on price. Because again, we're not Walmart, we're not Amazon, we're not selling products. And if somebody wants to be like, oh, your prices are high, you could be like, yes, they are high because I am offering a fantastic value. And if that's not in your budget, I understand, you can wait. Or how good would it feel to have people coming and saying, oh, I've been saving up to work with you. That is selling value-based, meaning people want what you have to offer regardless of the price because it's so good, because it's that unique flavor that you impart to your offerings. And really, they can't get it anywhere else. You deliver the unique secret sauce, right? So don't ever, do the thing with pricing where, okay, well, I'm, offering tarot readings and everybody else charges about this much for tarot readings, so I should just do a little bit less than that because I'm starting out. It sounds logical, but people are not purchasing via logic. We all think we are, but in fact, purchasing is an emotional decision. So I want you to take a minute and think about what it means when you say, oh, something is cheap, whether it's a pair of tennis shoes or a meal out, like, oh, that's a really cheap place, or yeah, these are cheap shoes. Take a moment and think about how that feels, imagine conversations with people and talking about something cheap. Think about that for a minute. And now I want you to think about the opposite. Think about, oh, that's expensive. That's a high price. Cheap sometimes feels like adequate, just enough. Not quite actually what we want, but it'll do, I guess. Expensive might feel more like luxurious, a treat, exactly what I wanted, worth the money. And so when you're making up your prices, and it really is just, we're all making up numbers. There's no exact science behind pricing. So it really comes down to energetics and feeling it out. So let's say you've got an offer you want to share with the world. Maybe it's, maybe you're a postpartum doula, and it can be tempting to just, look at the doulas in your area and see what their offer, what their hourly rate is, and say, well, I should just, be cheaper than them, or do about what they're doing. You can also look at what sets you apart. Think about the value that those things bring, and then drop into your somatic, energetic body and feel out your pricing. And so many of us, we're up here, especially in business, right? We're in our heads and everything is logic driven. But the fact is, business is meant to be more than that. And so there's a technique called heart-brain coherence. Maybe you've heard of that before. And it's really in training our head brain with our heart brain, because we have neurons in our head, in our heart, and in our gut. We actually have 3 different places in our body that have a collection of neurons. And so we have like a little brain in our heart. So one of the ways we can do this to drop into our physical body is to put our hand on our heart and slow down our breathing just a bit, and then pick a price for whatever you're offering, and imagine saying to a new client, okay, my services cost $200. Or my services cost $20. You might get an instant yes or no. I also want you to try on something like, my services cost $2,000. My services cost $20,000. Now, obviously, it depends on whether or not we're talking about a single hour of tech help or booking a retreat in the mountains, but the concept is the same. You can drop in to your energetic body, your physical body, and just pick a price. See how it feels. And the sweet spot for how it should feel is a little bit of a risk. Imagine like that thrill of happiness when you're like about to go on a roller coaster, or maybe go swimming, or go to the beach, whatever that feeling is for you, where you feel that nervous excitement. That's a good price. If you feel like, oh, I mean, yeah, I could go for that, like that's enough, that's not really actually what you want to do. You want to push yourself a little bit. And a lot of women specifically, end up undercharging, and we can actually be doing too much. Value, not volume, is about not over delivering. So one of the reasons why I wanted to keep this short is because I know I can talk a blue streak about these things, but I can't do it all in 30 plus minutes. So sometimes less is more. One of the sabotages that women do with their business is that they offer so much help, content, insights. People think, my gosh, it's going to take me, a while to integrate all this. And then they don't book another session, or they don't buy the upgraded course that you're offering, or whatever it is. They don't book more services because it's almost like you gave them so much that they don't know how to integrate it. And then you've left them on their own, where maybe it would be better for them to, have touch points with you and come back and work on things together over time, because that's actually a more supportive way of doing business. And so we might think that we're doing a favor by like giving everything we've got, in the first session, as soon as we ever work with someone, or putting every single tip you've ever learned into the book you're writing or the video course you're recording. It's too much sometimes. And that can feel overwhelming, which isn't going to help you or your clients. And then the funny part is, that's the other part with pricing, is that sales conversion is actually just a numbers game. This is another thing that I learned from one of my biz mentors. Blew me away. But the fact is, however many eyes you've gotten on your sales page, 1% of those people will buy on average. That is just a statistic across the board for online business. And so if you have something like analytics set up where you can look at how many page views you're getting, you can run your numbers. And it doesn't matter. It's always about 1%, whether your offering is $10, $100, or $10,000. So that, if nothing else, that might be a reason to think about charging a little bit more for your prices. Because would you rather hustle really hard to make a $50 sale or to make a $500 sale? Your energy is precious, your time is precious, and you don't want to use all of yourself up by marketing, when really what you want to be doing is helping clients, connecting with people, and creating more amazing offers. So conversion is the same at any price point. Now we're down to the end, value proposition. So this is something from another biz guru that I have followed over the years. His name is Peter Sandine, and you can look up value proposition, and you'll probably come across this framework. The idea is you can ask these 3 questions about every single thing you offer, and then you can determine the value of what you're offering. And so therefore the price, or how desirable it is. And so the first question to ask about anything you're offering for sale is, how unique is your offering? Can they get the same stuff elsewhere? This is what I'm talking about when I say you're not Walmart, you're not Amazon. So You're offering, even if you think it's not unique, oh, everybody does postpartum doula work in my town or whatever. In fact, nobody does it exactly the way you do. Nobody is bringing exactly the same body of knowledge and lived experiences and unique insights that you have. And so really play up those strengths. Be the purple cow, embrace your weirdness, and let your vulnerability shine through, because that is going to be the stuff that sets your offerings apart from the crowd. Nobody else can do it exactly like you do. So, second question you want to ask about your services is, how much proof can you show that it gets the results people are looking for? Remember, people don't want features or benefits. They're not actually really interested in what they're getting. They don't care if it's 12 videos or 3. They don't care if it's, 4 hours of content versus 12. They want to know, have other people taken this course and gotten the results that they want? Whether it's healing their children's cavities, or creating a successful YouTube channel, or how to paint their walls. They want to know, are they going to get the results that they're seeking? And so the proof that you can show is worth its weight in gold. Testimonials earn more money. Like, that is number one way of converting sales, is proving that there are already people that you have taken through this pathway, that you've brought them along this transformation, and they are happy about it. They are thrilled. In fact, they're telling all their friends about how amazing your services are. Testimonials. Then the third question you want to ask people, or you want to ask about your services is, or your offerings, how much do people want what you're offering? And this one might actually be the one that trips us up a lot, because we can get so in our heads about what we think people need, and it might not be what they want. I'm sure this has happened where you've seen like a product or a service, like things will go big, and everybody's talking about this particular pair of pants, or something like that, like this new cool product that is, I don't know, an egg slicer, and people are crazy about it. And you think to yourself, why would anybody want that? This is where you have to remember that you are not your ideal client. And sometimes the only way to find out what people are actually wanting that you have to offer is to ask them. You've got to just ask and connect with people. And so sometimes you can do that if you have an email list already. You can do that by having a survey. You can make one on SurveyMonkey. It's free. You might have even seen one come through that I did recently. And then you can find out that, perhaps maybe you're in the birth work world, and you are really, focused on this particular, like perhaps, I don't know, how to have unassisted birth, for instance. That's a passion of mine. And so I'm reading and writing a lot about that. I'm creating content about that. But then actually, it seems like your audience might be interested in something a little bit different. They might be more interested in perhaps healing from postpartum, or figuring out how to heal from birth trauma, or how to heal ancestral wounds. They might be interested in something totally different, like baby gear reviews. You don't necessarily know what is going to be the thing unless you ask. And so it is actually, it's worth noting that there are there's two paths to creating a business or a product or an item, right? The first path is create something amazing in your opinion, and then convince everybody that they need the thing. That's the hard way. The easy way is find out what people need and want. More importantly, want, because emotions are what drives this, right? Not actually practicality. You would think it would be the other way around, but it's not. So find out what people really want. What are they really just wanting? And then create an offering around that addresses their specific spoken needs and wants and desires. Then let them know that you've created this thing. And that's the easy way to get sales. And so it's not always down to what you think people want. It's down to figuring out what they want and creating it. So reverse engineer the whole process. And of course, you're going to do it your way, which is in your favor as the purple cow. So every single item or service that you offer, you can run through this value proposition. How unique is it? How much proof can you show? And how much do people actually want it? Is it something that they can't live without? Or is it just something that they're like, oh, that would be nice? That's the difference between whether or not you're making money. So that is pretty much at the end of this little mini pitch. If you want something like specific guidance, help around the kind of things that you're creating for your business, I do offer consults. I help with setups. I help with integration. I'm a copywriter, and I do offer some marketing guidance. But the thing is, I don't offer done-for-you services. I'm more like offering insights, and I get you started, and I offer walkthroughs. A lot of times I'll get on a call and log into all your things, screen share, and show you how to do it so that you can do it yourself later. So if you want to DIY and you just need a little bit of help, like a fairy godmother to come in and make it easier, that's what I specialize in. So hopefully this has been super helpful for you. And if you want to book consults, that's my link to get them. And I'm really glad that you're here. Now, we have just a few more minutes. So I'm going to unmute